Grab your notebooks and your planners because today I'm reviewing my best and simplest hand lettering styles for using in your bullet journal. Hi guys, welcome back. My name's Shayda Campbell. So I started this channel 3 years ago with a hand lettering video. That was my very first video that I put out into the YouTube universe before I even dreamed of having a YouTube channel. And it just took off, and so that's sort of what the channel became. So I've always stuck to sort of my hand lettering and illustration roots. Actually, I'm gonna link that video below because it's kind of funny. I just didn't have a lot of equipment. I think it was shot on a tablet or something, so it's fun to see where you've come from. And then in 2018, I've started doing a lot of bullet journaling. So I thought it'd be fun today to kind of take those two and put them together, and we're gonna do some of the best and simplest lettering styles for your bullet journal. All right, let's get started here with our journals. I've got a pencil, an artist pen like a Pigma Micron, and an eraser. And the first lettering style that we're going to talk about is called the double line. I came up with some pretty creative names. So you can see when I write it just looks a little plain sitting on the page. But as soon as I double up and sort of amplify all those lines, it gives it a little more oomph. And it's also really easy to cover up any mistakes. Or if you don't quite like the shape of the letter you first draw, you can kind of change it when you go back in and double that line. So really achievable, really simple. It looks great on the page. The second style is called one side wide, and this one I tend to do it freehand, but you can also start in pencil and give yourself a bit of a guide. And I just thicken one side of the letter, and here I'm doing the left-hand side, and I've done it so many times that, as I said, I just freehand it, but if you have to start in pencil, no big deal. And then of course you've got that thick side that you can fill in any which way. You could color it in, you can add some line shading, some stippling. It gives a nice impact, and it's also really achievable. Next is faux calligraphy. This is one I've been teaching on the channel since my very first video, that fake calligraphy style. All you have to do is write out the word in your best grade school cursive, and then you thicken each downstroke. So whenever the pen is being pulled towards your body, so you're moving the pen downwards on the page, that's where you thicken the letter. Just use a small pen like a Pigma Micron 005, and it comes together really easily. Our next style is one that I have titled Simple Shadow. For this one, I start by writing the word out in pencil. Could be uppercase or lowercase, doesn't matter. And actually, I've spaced them a little too much there, so I'm just going to erase and put the letters a little closer together. And then you can see what I do is I take my pen and I sort of use the pencil writing as a guide, and I just go around each letter, and I create these nice punchy block letters, or bubble letters we could call them. And then to create the shadow, you're just thickening one side of the letter. As far as shadow fonts go, it couldn't get any easier. And not only is it really simple, but it's actually a nice way to, again, hide any mistakes. You can definitely thicken or thin out a letter by adding that extra shadow on the side. The next one is also a little throwback from my first video, and it's one that I called my hipster lettering, and that's because it just isn't trying too hard. And you write out the word in capital letters in pencil, and then you go around with your pen, and each section of each letter is sort of its own thing. So you can see the T here is made up of two rectangles. You can do it in different sizes. It's really easy, really simple. It looks kind of silly, but that's how it's supposed to look. The next one is just doing brush lettering, and you would need to have some brush pens for this one. And what I like to do is use my brush pens in my bullet journal or my planner, and then I go back in with my Pigma Micron and I add a bit of shadow. And that little shadow line just on the left hand or right hand side of each letter, it really makes the words pop off the page and gives a nice finished look to your layout or your words. Last of all, it's one called Easy Script, and this is one I'm seeing more and more often on Instagram and in journals and for hand-lettered pieces. It's sort of like the faux calligraphy, but you're not thickening any downstrokes. You've just got this beautiful cursive that's bouncy and just made up of the simple lines. So very achievable. Do it in pencil first and you're good to go. You can see I've just put a little title on the page there, and I'm going to add some little lines and doodles, and then my piece is all done. It's come together. Now I have a pretty page in my journal that I can refer to anytime I'm trying to think of what sort of handmade font I want to use for a layout. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing about my favorite and most achievable handmade fonts for my bullet journal. There's the easy script. I used it to do a little quote. These are the lettering styles that I go back to again and again, so I hope you'll find these as useful as I have. If you're interested in more practice on that one side wide handmade font, I made up some worksheets and you can grab those over on my Patreon site after the video. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next Friday with a new tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe.